Go for Kelly.
There's an emergency. We need you to run a D&D game right now.
I'm ready.
But Kelly, it's not at your house. You're gonna need to travel.
These days, if we play in person, I'm usually the one that has to travel. And although this DM screen I built last year is really cool, it's not practical to travel with. So I decided to build myself the ultimate portable DM kit, and here it is. All of this packs down and fits inside this little case. The best part of all, this wooden case is from Michaels and it's on clearance for only $12. I'm gonna go through everything that's in the kit, how to build it, and how to customize it for yourself. I'm also gonna show you how you can use the sponsor of today's video to create awesome tokens for playing online or in person. Thank you so much to Jaku for sponsoring this video. Welcome to the table. I'm Kelly and I need to DM on the go-go, and I'm not planning on going solo. In an ironic twist of events, Loren and I moved out of the city, so we have the space for this awesome table, but now we live far away from our friends, so we rarely play D&D at our house. And it's largely just become a workspace for me to do crafts. After showing up to the last session with an entire folding crate worth of stuff, I decided I needed to build myself a portable DM kit. And yes, I could have just used a backpack like a normal person, but where's the fun in that? Instead, I've spent the last 2 weeks figuring out everything I could possibly need to run a game, finding the perfect pre-made case to fit it all in, and figuring out how to modify that case so it has a built-in DM screen. And because I've done all the experimenting, you can make this thing in less than an hour and customize it to perfectly fit your needs. Speaking of perfect fit, look at this. This box is exactly the size of a D&D book. The DM's guide fits perfectly flush inside the lid.
Damn!
In the first part of this video, I'm going to show you how I modified the case to have this super slick built-in DM screen, and in the second part of the video, I'm going to show you everything in my kit, including how you can have a full set of minis and terrain and dry erase grid that fits inside something barely larger than a D&D book. The main part of this build is this art supplies box from Michaels. They're on clearance right now, but I hope it's not because it's being discontinued, because it's absolutely perfect for D&D. I got mine for $12, which is pretty crazy. I also found this easel box on Amazon, but it's not as good because it has holes for these easel pieces, and it's a bit tall when you open it up. But it does fit a book in it, so if you can't find the one from Michaels, then this might be the next best thing. To make the fold-out pieces for the DM screen, I used 2 pieces of basswood and some small hinges that I had left over from my previous DM screen build. Just pick 2 pieces that have similar grain as the lid, and then cut them down to the height of the lid, which is 9.5 inches, and then down to a width of 11.5 inches to leave room for the hinges on the other side. All of the parts are linked down in the description. The Amazon links are affiliate links, so if you use one to make a purchase, I get a small commission. Unfortunately, all the parts come in much larger quantities than we need, but hopefully you can use them for future projects. Next, take your basswood and mark 2 inches up from each edge and screw in your hinges. It's helpful to press in with your screwdriver first to help center your screw. You can start screwing it in on your work surface, but obviously the screw is much longer than the depth of the wood, so you'll have to hang the wood off the edge of a table to finish screwing it in. Now we need to cut the ends of the screws off. I used these craft clippers and it worked really well, but be extremely careful and wear safety glasses. The way the blades are shaped means the end of the screw will shoot up at you. You can line up the clippers, then put a piece of paper or something else over top to catch the screw end. If there are any sharp edges after cutting the screws, just run a file over them. Now just screw the hinges into the box lid. Be sure to put the hinge out far enough so that the sides can actually hinge around the edge of the box. If you put them too far in on the lid, the sides of your DM screen won't be able to come around, they'll be stuck flat. That's pretty much it, although there are 2 small issues that we need to solve. The first is that when you open the box all the way, the screen swings away from you and won't stay open. There are a couple of ways we can solve this. One easier but not as nice looking, and one with magnets. If there's one thing I learned from my last build, it's that I should have used magnets. The other thing I learned from my last DM screen build is how incredibly talented and creative you all are. I've gotten so many messages from people showing off their awesome DM screen builds, and it truly makes my day, so please do keep sending them. I got this email from Ray recently sharing the DM screen he made for his son. The monitor is hidden behind the front gates, and there are whiteboards all along the back. The whole thing can be broken apart into pieces and fits inside these custom-made boxes. It's truly a work of art. Anyways, back to me tying string around a clothespin. To use the first method, screw a small screw into the inside bottom edge to act as a hook, make a string loop, clip a clothespin to the bottom edge, then loop the string from the clothespin to the screw. To do this with magnets, glue a washer to the bottom corner of each side. Take some of this leather strap material, which we'll be using more of later, then glue a magnet onto the end. Screw it to the inside edge. Now you can swivel the strap up and the magnet will stick to the washer and hold the sides open. These magnets are also useful for displaying stuff to your players, which I'll go over in a minute. The last thing we need to make is something to keep the screen closed in transit. There are lots of options for this, but I decided to make a leather strap with these snaps so I could also strap my laptop to the outside. And I think it fits the D&D aesthetic of wood and leather. I'll be honest though, even with 2 snaps for extra security, I still carry the box upright when my laptop's on there because I don't fully trust these to hold it. The snaps come in this little kit with all the tools you need except for a hammer. Just cut the leather material so that it wraps around the case fully with your laptop or book on the outside. The strap I used is fake leather and I've linked it down below. I got the 1/2 inch wide strap, but the snaps are too big for it, so I'd probably go for some 3/4 inch or 1 inch wide strap if I did it again. Now just use the cutter tool and rotate it back and forth to make a hole. Put the snap through the hole, then take the other half, hammer it down, and then repeat with the other side. Before I go through everything that's in this kit, including the custom DM screen back I made for myself and these dry erase tiles, I want to show you how you can get some incredibly high quality and customized tokens you can use online or in person from the sponsor of today's video, Jaku. Che and Peku are 2 artists who make fantastic assets for tabletop games. You probably know them for their incredible maps, but now they've come out with Jaku tokens. They've built a full token customizer and editor where you can change almost anything about the tokens, including what they're holding, what they're wearing, and of course the color of absolutely any element. There are already over 250 tokens and they're adding 15 new ones every single week. There are a couple of different ways to use the token editor. You can either go in and customize each aspect by hand if you're making your own character or an important NPC. Look at how many different options there are. Or if you're looking to quickly differentiate a group of monsters or NPCs, you can select one of the presets or hit the randomize button to quickly generate a number of unique tokens. No more listing Goblin 1, Goblin 2, Goblin 3. Now you can actually have tokens that represent Hat Goblin, No Hat Goblin, and Scarf Goblin. As I mentioned before, you can use these online or you can print them out and use them on your paper maps, either directly on the map or on a poker chip as a portable but great looking mini. Head to the link down in the description to try out Jaku tokens. I've managed to pack a lot inside this kit. It was everything I could possibly think of, but I'm sure I'll continue to change and customize it as I play different types of campaigns. We'll talk about the back of the screen and all the info I've included on there in a minute, but first, this envelope. In here, I keep all my full-size paper resources like character sheets, a full shop catalog, and this fun roll table of food carts from a module called Gourmet Street. The shop catalog has prices for everything my players could ever want to buy or sell, and Gourmet Street is a fun way to add some flavor to your worlds. I've shared both of these great resources in previous videos, which I've linked down below. If you like getting recommendations for cool D&D and TTRPG resources, and if you want to hear us try and build pop culture characters in D&D like Druid Shrek or Aarakocra Batman, you might like our podcast called We Like D&D.
I built Batman the Aarakocra.
Ooh.
And so
Batman?
I'm the goddamn Batman, bro.
We Like D&D is a show where Loren, Alec, and I chat about D&D and TTRPGs in variety show style segments. We have a show and tell segment where we each bring something TTRPG related that's caught our eye and share why we like it. The main episodes are available for free on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and on YouTube. Check it out at the links below. Back to my envelope. What else is in here? Character sheets. This is the new D&D 2024 character sheet, and I really like that they now list the skills under each ability. I think this is a great improvement. You still don't have to stick with those, but I think it makes it much easier to read. Underneath, I have terrain tiles, which are mostly from printable heroes. You can check out my paper terrain video to get the details on how I printed these, but I'm really pleased with how they came out, and they allow me to fit such a wide variety of terrain in a portable kit. One of the types of terrain they didn't have though was open ocean, and since I'm currently running a pirate campaign and there's a lot of open ocean, I made my own. They have ocean on one side and blank grid on the other, so you can draw whatever you want with dry erase markers without having to carry around a big dry erase grid. You can get those files on the Patreon, which I've linked below. Terrain tiles do have an annoying issue that I've seen a lot of comments about, and these little things solve it. When you lay the tiles out on a table, they tend to slide around and mess up your carefully placed terrain. To solve that, I've ordered some of this non-slip drawer liner and cut it up into little squares. Now I lay them down first and no more sliding around. Moving down into the main area, I have a little divider that I made that keeps things in place. Depending on what you're putting in your kit, you might be able to use the dividers that come with the box, but I needed to divide it into left and right, so I made my own. I 3D printed one, but you could also make it out of basewood by gluing a few pieces together. Every time I say basewood, I feel like I'm insulting it.
That explains why you're so basic.
On the left side, I keep these little dry erase markers that have an eraser on the back, pens and pencils, my dice, and these two little bags. One has some poker chips, which I put little gold foil stickers on. That way I can write on them with dry erase markers to denote different enemies or objects on the map. They're bigger than 1 inch in diameter, which makes them kind of a pain to use on the grid sometimes, but I still think they're useful. The other bag has coins and beads. I find that it's great to have some kind of little tokens that you can give to your players. Whether it's coins, beads, or some other random trinkets, it can be really handy to give them out to your players as a reminder that they've collected something in-game or have a condition like exhaustion. They can also be great for marking things on maps. I also keep a small notepad for making quick notes during the session, tracking things, or for crude drawings to show my players. On the right side, I've got lots of stuff. I keep the plastic bases for the paper minis on top here. Under those, I have some 3 inch by 5 inch cue cards. Cue cards are really great for making easy handouts for your players, like a quick item card for a magic item, quick stats for an NPC or ally, or a secret note handed to one of your players at the table. At the back, I've got all my paper minis. For now, I don't have a ton, so I've just organized them as creatures and props. I've color-coded them so I can quickly see which one is which. Once I start getting more, I'll be organizing the creatures by type, like humanoid, construct, beast, etc. Under those, I have a sewing tape measure from the dollar store and a box of magnets. I like to have monster cards, maps, art, and other things for my players to look at on the outside of my screen. The wood is thin enough that you can use these tiny magnets to put whatever you want on the outside. Also, a great tip I saw on Reddit from u/Methuen was that you can put rules references and house rules on the player side of your screen to help them out. Putting our agreed upon house rules on the player side of the DM screen is definitely something I'll be doing going forward. If you'd rather have a digital display for your players and you have a tablet, you can lean that up against the outside of the screen, join a Discord call with yourself, and share whichever windows you like. Behind those, I keep a collection of monster cards and magic item cards. Lauren found all these monster cards and magic item cards at the thrift store for a few dollars. I always check the book section in thrift stores now because sometimes they have TTRPG stuff and it's a great bargain. I also keep these blank item cards that I made so my players can fill them in if they get a custom magic item or spell. That template file is also available on the Patreon. This DIY journey is almost complete.
It's done.
Before we look at all the minis, let's jump back up to the inside of the screen. This is the part that took the longest by far. I looked at a bunch of DM screens, as well as through all the tables in the 2024 rules, and pulled out the information I thought would be most useful to have at a glance. I also made some modifications and added a few of my own things. I got the screen printed on 100-pound cardstock and then laminated, and then I cut it out and stuck it to the inside of the screen using double-sided tape. In this section, I've stuck an adhesive cue card pouch. I've written out some of my players' quick stats like passive perception, HP, and AC, and I've also written out some NPC and place names. Whenever my players level up, or I use up a name, I can just cross it off and then replace the card whenever I need to. If you want to print this DM screen for yourself, or modify it, the PDF and Illustrator files are available at the free tier on my Patreon, which is linked below. I've also got these Draw 20 cards in my kit. These are decks of cards that you can use as dice, and they're really versatile, which makes them great for a portable kit. They're created by an independent artist, and I think they're really cool. This is not sponsored, but they did send them to me for free. If you want to make your own collection of paper minis or printed JPEG tokens, you can check out this video here to find out everything I've learned from making paper minis, including cost, what kind of paper to get them printed on, the best tools and techniques for cutting, and how to make really easy, low-cost terrain. I appreciate you.